Greeting everyone, today I will try to explain how you can learn to perform perfect dodge consistently. So before learning about the perfect dodge mechanism, you have to learn about the basic mechanics of the game and why learning how to perfect dodge is very important for every OPBR player. So let me begin this video with why you should know how to perform perfect dodge. Perfect dodge is a very important mechanics which grant you around 3 seconds of invincibility. When you perform it, perfect dodge relies on connection speed, prediction, timing, experience, muscle memory, and in this video, I will try to explain everything as easily as possible. I will explain everything in 5 points, so let's start with connection speed. The first point to remember is that perfect dodge mechanics itself is very inconsistent in nature, and no one in this world can turn every dodge into perfect dodge, though with practice and muscle memory, you can increase the chance of performing perfect dodges. Perfect dodges mechanics heavily relies on your connection speed, as in order to perform perfect dodge, you have to press dodge button at the exact moment when your enemy has pressed the attack or skill button, and just before it, the animation is about to over and you are about to get hit. You have to press dodge button to get a perfect dodge. So when your enemy press attack button and you press dodge button to perform perfect dodge. So your action is sent to the server, which is handling the whole match between you and your enemy. If the button signal sent to server is even a millisecond late, it can change the whole timing of the dodge, resulting in not giving you a perfect dodge. As the packet containing the information regarding your dodge with timing has arrived late to the server, so I would heavily suggest that you should check your connection before starting the game. Now let's move on to second point, which is prediction. It is very important to predict enemy attack time before enemy release the attack. As in this era, most meta character skills hit way too fast to perfect dodge that skill. So let me simplify it more. There are 2 types of character skills in this game. First are easily dodgeable, as their animation time is longer than usual, like Gear 5 Kaminari, X Kaido Skill 2, and counters, etc. You can press dodge button as the animations start or just before they hit you to get a perfect dodge, as some of the skill animations are very slow. And the second types are character skill, which get hit in an instant, or the skill is released on the will of the player, playing that character by holding down the skill button, which is almost impossible to perfect dodge with 100% success rate. Examples of these types of skills are Dark Roger Running Divine Departure, Roger V1 Skill 2, X Kaido Skill 1, and many more, also skills that get hit in an instant, like Film Redshanks Skill 1, Alba Skill 1 and 2, S Snake Skill 1 and 2. So mostly for the first type of character skills, with longer animation time, you only have to time the perfect dodge, as you have a little bit of time before enemy skill hit you, and there is no need to predict anything. Just simply press the dodge button before the attack is about to hit, and you get a perfect dodge. But prediction is used in the second type of skills, which are instant and skills that are released on will of the player, as you have no idea when that skill is going to be released. In those scenarios, you have to predict that enemy skill release time. Mostly from what I have learned, that these skills are mostly released by players in these scenarios. First one being when you have already pressed the dodge button and the enemy knows that you have wasted your only chance to be saved from this attack. In this case, you can only do 2 things. If you have an invincible skill, then use that to be saved from those attack or get ready to tank the attack and wait if your teammate somehow saves you. The second scenario, which is most common, and that is when you are fighting your enemy and enemy teammate is coming to help his mate. Then the instant skill will be released as they know that you can't pay attention to both enemies at the same time. The third scenario is in which your enemy press the dodge button in the hope that you have attacked them earlier and they just press dodge button. And after that, in the panic of killing you in an instant, as they don't have their dodge to evade your attack, they will quickly use their instant hit skill. That's when you hit the dodge button to get a perfect dodge. Remember, if they don't have their skills available after panic dodge, they will spam their normal attack button, so you have a good chance of getting a perfect dodge. Now the third point, which is timing, so both the points that we talked about earlier, about connection and prediction, is directly related to timing, as they both impact the timing at which dodge button should be pressed to get a perfect dodge. For example, if you have a very good connection and you have pressed dodge button just before you are about to get hit, then the timing of when you should press dodge button to get perfect dodge changes with the connection speed and latency to the server. That is one of the reasons that perfect dodge cannot be done with a 100% success rate, as the timing of perfect dodge itself changes as your connection speed and latency changes. Timing the dodge is the most crucial step in mastering perfect dodge, as the timing of when dodge button should be pressed to get a perfect dodge changes with every character. Every character dodge speed is different in this game. Some perform instant dodge, but some character dodges are slower. For example, if you compare Prime Rayleigh dodge speed with OG Dark King Rayleigh, then you can clearly see that OG Rayleigh dodge is slower than Prime Rayleigh, but the dodge speed change of every character is minimal, and the impact it has on timing of dodge is quite less. But the thing which impact the timing of dodge the most is animation time of every character, skills and even normals. As you already know that, in this game some skills are instant, way too fast, released on will, counters or very slow, though they all have animation before the skill is released, which provide other players to know when skill is coming. Every skill has some kind of animation, but the only difference between them is that some skills' animations ends way too quickly, and some skills' animations are slow. So the player has to know which skill is instant and which skill is slow. That usually depends on the experience of the player, but whenever a new character is released, even experienced players struggles, as even they have no idea about the new character skills, and they usually adapt to that character after a certain period of time. So in simple words, if you don't know that the enemy skill is instant or slow animation skill, then I will prefer to just wait. If the skill is slow, then you still have a chance of getting a perfect dodge, but if it's instant, then you can learn about the timing of that skill and predict the skill. The next time it is released, though, most perfect dodges happen with prediction. So whenever enemy skill is just about to hit, then you should press dodge button 2 to 3 frames prior to get a perfect dodge, and of course the timing of pressing the dodge button changes with connection. Now to the fourth point, which is experience. In this game, some OPBR players are very old, and in this scenario, old means that some players are playing this game for a long time. Even I am playing this game for 3+ years, and I remember that I used to play Dark King Rayleigh and OG Kaido, and you had to perform a perfect dodge to kill anyone. It was like it was must, as even in those days, OG Rayleigh was weak, but if you can perfect dodge and attack, then you can kill anyone at that time. Though he is completely useless now thanks to hacky states of both Shanks and enemies, which are way tackier than before. Now when someone has that much experience in this game, then that players will always have an upper hand for obvious reasons, but let me tell you, experience and skill can make a difference. But still you need a good character, and sometime if you have a better character, then even the experience and skill a player has becomes completely useless. For example, if you have Prime Rayleigh, which all the skilled players loved, and then on one side you have Film Red Shanks. Now if they both fight, Prime Rayleigh can never defeat Shanks without team boost, or it's just way too hard to be practical and repeatable feat. So in general, experience plays a very little role when fighting in this game, but experience plays a huge role when learning about perfect dodge in this game, as perfect dodge mechanics is a little bit hard to learn, though the difference is always clear, as experienced players can predict enemy more accurately to get a perfect dodge, and the more time that you spend on this game, the more you become good at perfect dodge mechanics like any other game. Though, as I said before, even the skilled players can't perform perfect dodge all the time because of unreliable mechanics, and also if a new character comes out, then the time it will take for an experienced player to adapt to that new character and to learn about perfect dodge timing. On the skill is same to a new player, so in shorts, if a new character comes out, then an experienced player has same experience as you while dealing with that character. So just a little advice, if you want to be good at perfect dodge, then try OG Rayleigh, Prime Rayleigh, Dark King V2, Rayleigh, Yasop, as they push player to perfect dodge and attack, and they are zero and hero according to how you are good at perfect dodge. Now finally to the last point, which is muscle memory. In many scenarios in this game, you are fighting, capturing and looking at the minimap. At that time, a player cannot just stare at the enemy continuously and wait for him to use their skill, which can be perfect dodged, as everyone around you will be attacking you at the same time. Then you have to rely on your muscle memory, which is created by continuously playing this game. where you just see the enemy attack, and you just already know when to press the dodge button. Though there is not much to explain in this topic of muscle memory, as they are created with time and can improve your gameplay significantly. So to fasten up the process, you can play any Rayleigh, Yasup, Albert, or in general, anyone who relies on the perfect dodge. And audio is also a very important aspect, as you can dodge an attack without looking at it. That's how I perform some dodges in my gameplays. Muscle memory can help you in a lot of ways. For example, you can make decisions in the game lot quicker by looking at the mini-map for a quick second, which can increase the chances of you winning the match, as map awareness is also a very important aspect in this game to win the match. That's it, guys. These are all the things that I think will help you learn about the perfect dodges. If you want more videos like this, let me know in the comments section.